Hello and welcome to my very first online art lesson. I'm so excited about this and I'm so excited that you're here to watch this first video. Now I'm still getting things set up in my studio, so my setup is a little bit rough, but I will be getting a much nicer setup very soon. But what's most important is that you can see the easel and you can see what I'm working on, and that's all that matters really, right? Okay, so we are going to paint this painting right here. This is the one. I call it Tree with Moon. I've had some other names. Some other people call it different names, but I'm going to hang this right over here for your reference. All right, and so here we go. Oh, one more thing. This, the rest of this video, the actual painting of the tree with moon, is going to be in time lapse, and I'm doing that right now because I don't have a great internet connection, and I am working on that, and hopefully I'll get that problem fixed very soon, and so then I can do full-length videos. But for now, I'm doing time lapse, and if it goes too fast for you, just pause the video until you get done with a certain section and then move on to the next section. This is my setup for my paint palette. I use a thick piece of glass that's sanded off on the edges. It's about probably a 1/4 inch piece of glass. I like to use this because it's really easy to keep clean. I can clean it off when I'm done and start with a clean palette every time. So the rest of my setup, I have some paper towels here, a couple paper towels. I've got my 2 brushes. One is the flat one is a number 8 filbert, and then the pointy one is a number 4 round. And this pretty much covers everything we need for this painting. I also have my paint water, and then I have all my paints. I have blue, purple, black, brown, yellow, and white, and these are all acrylic paints. So with that in mind, there you go. There's the setup. Here we go. Let's get started. We're going to start with the big brush. A little bit of water on that, just damp. With some white, we're going to start a little circle of the moon with the white just to reserve the space. And then we're going to switch to the blue and do a circle of blue around. Make sure that you rinse out your brush really good in between colors so that you're not muddying your colors. So once we put the circle of blue around, we're going to do the circle of purple. And then we are going to continue on with the blue and do the rest of the canvas out to the edges and also paint the edges of the canvases. We're going to bring the blue down to the bottom and make a line for where our ground is going to be. I put a little mesa in there. And then we're going to fill in all the blue. I'm using circular brush strokes to go around the moon. You can do it this way or you can do it whichever way you want. Your brush strokes can even be very haphazard and abstract if you want. It's totally up to you. It's your painting. Do it the way you want. So once the blue is done, we're going to move on to the brown. Once again, rinse your brush really well and fill in that bottom ground part. We're just doing a base coat of brown here. We'll do a little bit of highlighting later and shadows. Just filling in the base. So once that's done, we're going to start with our tree trunk. And you're going to start with a big brush. It makes the fatter parts of the tree a little easier to paint with a big brush. Once you get done with that, switch to the little brush. Now the little brush is going to help us take all the branches out to the edges. These branches on a tree get smaller as they go out. Just keep painting our little branches. Using your little brush, just get all those little branches out there. You can put as many as you want. I like to do odd numbers. I'm not into some symmetry and even numbers, so I do odd numbers. And you want them to be kind of staggered and natural looking. You don't want every branch to have the exact same number of branches and all of that. So just vary it as much as you want. This is your painting, so do it the way you want to do it. If you want more branches, put more branches. If you want fewer branches, put fewer branches. If you want your branches curly cueing around, you can do that too. I'm kind of curving mine into the moon for this painting. So once you've put all your branches in, then we're going to start working on some shadows. We're going to switch to the black paint, and we're still using the small brush. We're going to put basically just a line along the edge for the shadow on the branch to give it more of a rounded look. And this is going to be on the edge of the branch that is facing away from the moon, because this is the shadow of the moon. So once you get all the shadows in there, we're going to switch to white. After we get the shadows on the mountain there, we're going to switch over to white, rinse your brush really good so that it doesn't turn to gray. And then you're going to put the highlights on the tree all the way around on all the branches. And these are going to be on the side of the branches that are facing the moon, because this is the highlights. This is where the moon is shining on the branches. This is going to give your tree more of a three-dimensional look and more real look. Keep it from being flat. So that once you're done with that all the highlights, and you put some highlights down the bottom too, then we're going to start doing the stars, and we're going to start with white on the stars, and it's just little dots that we're putting in all over the place. And the reason we're putting white is to kind of block out the blue in those areas, so that when we put the yellow, it'll shine through and make the stars more bright. So then we're going to switch to yellow and put a little yellow on the moon, and then go over all the white spots and the white spirals with our yellow and fill it all in. And that is pretty much it. You have made your painting. You should be very proud of yourself. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed painting along with me today, and I'm going to give you a little close-up of the finished painting here. It's kind of hard to see when you're standing back from it. I hope that you had fun painting today, and join me again, please. Thanks.